Welcome back, everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how I put a straight line in Bondo. And there's a few different ways to do it. I've probably tried every way out there. And I'm going to show you the way I like to do it, and I get the best results using this method. So let's take a look at this door, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. There's a body line right here on this black door. And sometimes black doesn't show up real good on camera. Sometimes you don't see the body lines and the curves, but it will show up any imperfections in your body work more than any other color. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to coat this whole area in Bondo here. I'm going to show you my way of putting this nice straight edge in here so it looks good when it's in paint. I'm going to start with 80 grit on the DA, and then I'll go around the edges with 120. When you're trying to build up an edge like this to get your body line in, you have a tendency not to put a whole lot of pressure with the applicator when you're spreading your Bondo because you don't want to flatten that down. Put enough pressure on there to get rid of any air bubbles. Then you can come over the top with less pressure to smooth it out and build your line up. I guarantee this is where you're going to get pinholes, right on that edge. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to rough this out with 80 grit on the DA and then kind of feather it back a little bit on the edges with 120. Okay, what I'm going to be doing next is putting guide coat on this, and I'm going to use this SEM, the spray can. It's part number 38203. I'll put a link to this in the description. You can also use the dry guide coat, and I'm almost out of this, so that's why I'm going to use this. Either one is going to work the same. There's some pinholes right here on this edge, but that's what I was saying. That's a real good area to get pinholes. If there are a few, we can just fill them later. But I'm going to put a coat of guide coat on here, and I'm going to start with 80 grit on the longboard and go over this. Okay, I've got 80 grit on my board here. I'm going to start sanding this down, and you want to take it nice and slow. Don't get too aggressive, because if you cut too far one way, then you've got to build it back up again. Now that I've got one side flattened down pretty good, I'm going to put another coat of guide coat on here, and I'm going to work on this area here. We'll do the opposite side. Okay, you can see there's a nice sharp edge here. Another way to do this is with masking tape. I used to do it that way, but I like the guide coat a little better because it gives you the contrast between the light and the dark, and you can see that edge perfectly. What I've run into before using masking tape, kind of cheating here because I got a black edge to follow, but if that wasn't there and you put your tape down, you can sand along that right up to the tape. But if this line kind of dips below here, use your tape for a straight edge, it really doesn't show up that much. You can sand on this side, put your tape over here, and then sand on the other side, but it doesn't really show it up as good. That's why I like the guide coat. And both ways will work, it's whatever you're comfortable with, but this seems to be quicker. So I'm gonna switch to 120 now on my board and keep working it down. All right, that gave me a nice straight edge, and there are a few pinholes in here, both sides, no big deal. Actually, stuff like that, I'd just take a little bit of Bondo and a razor blade and scrape it in there, and then just go over it with 120, and then you can finish it from there whatever you want, 220, 320. You can continue with the guide coat even after it's primed. That'll keep your edge nice and straight. Let's see if we can sight down this and see how straight that is. Yeah, looks nice and straight, nice and sharp. Sometimes you can actually make that peak too sharp, so you have to match it to what's on the panel. Okay, that come out nice. And you know, about every vehicle out there, on the wheel arches over the front wheel, the rear wheel, they've always got that body line. You got about a 2.5-inch flat spot around there. The guide coat works good on that too. You have a good visual of what your line is gonna look like in paint. So it does work good. Like I said, the tape works pretty good, but I like this method better. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, leave me a comment. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done it. Thanks for watching.